Hey everybody, how's it going? So I thought we'd do just another night of deep sky observing. Still testing out the technology. We've got a good dark sky night though, so no stupid moon. The sky is perfectly clear. It's a really good night to do this. So I wanted to start with an object that I had a tricky time with last time, which is Stephan's Quintet, which is a whole bunch of galaxies all in a cluster. But it looks like this one's going to be pretty tricky as well. It's a pretty small object down in the middle of the view, but I'm doing 10-second exposures, so there's like a bigger galaxy up in the top corner. But from Greenland, holy cow, that's awesome. I don't play EVE Online. I've played it. And I got ganked a bunch of times by people. And then I thought about how long it was going to take and how much of my life it was going to suck away. And I was like, no. But I think like a lot of people, I watched the EVE Online, read articles about the crazy stories on EVE Online. And yeah, it's just amazing. So what I want to do tonight is be the Sky DJ. And so what I want you to do is open up you could just let me know of objects that you want. But we can actually, there's a website called Telescopius. And if you set the location in Telescopius to Texas, and then you click on the deep sky, it will tell you, and I'll put a link to, This is, I wonder if this will work. Let me try an anonymous window, not logged in. Let me see. Hold on. But if you go to Telescopius, then you can pick some objects. Wow. Doesn't work. Yes, you should be able to set yourself at Texas, and then we'll get a list of objects and you guys can see it. So I'll just put the link to the place. And then I'll put a link to, oh, okay, right, obviously. Okay, so that's the website, Telescopius. And so if we go there and then you set your location to Texas, and then click on the deep sky. There's targets up at the top, and if you click on, I know I should share the window that shows this, but anyway, all right. So let me see if I can do this. Okay, and then open up I'll show you the one that I'm going to use. Let's see if that has everything in it. So this is going to set it to your location, but it's going to set the kinds of... All right, try this. Oh, it's too long. Okay. All right, never mind then. Okay. All right, well, that's enough time of imaging Stephan's Quintet. I think this is the best we can do in the amount of time that we have with this. Stephan's Quintet? But yeah, so we go to Telescopius. I'll pin that, but I'm going to share the Google Drive where we'll put the pictures. There we go. Okay. So no, I haven't downloaded the first picture yet. Yeah, don't worry about the battery critical. To make it easy to restart the telescope, they've removed the battery from it, but now it's plugged in, but apparently it's freaking out because it doesn't have a battery in there. Telescopium. Okay, so now I will download the image. Get a Affinity up. Where did I put affinity? Okay. Access to the G drive. Yeah, that should be the drive. Let's see how this works. So that should show up. No, of course it doesn't. Why would it? Move that. There we go. There's Stefan's quintet. It's cool though. So that's a galaxy cluster. It denies access and says you have to ask. Huh. Let me just... share. Oh, I see. Okay, yep. Anyone with the link. Okay, see if it works now. All right, let's go to the Orion Nebula. Okay. Yeah, you don't need to sign up. You just have to change the... it's still saying request access? Because I set that anyone with the link can view it. I'll give another copy of the link. Okay, hold on. Remove that one. Okay, let me just double check for myself. Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming the link changed. So let's try that. I just double checked that. It worked. There you go. Okay, that worked. So I'm going to reframe. Are we still moving? Okay. Okay, good. All right. So I will be, all of the images that we take tonight, I will dump them into that directory. I will try to remember to name them. And then you can do whatever you want with it. All right. Now let's take some pictures. That was just like an experiment. Like I wonder what it does. Like I've taken pictures of Stefan's quintet before, Stephen's quintet. So I wanted to see sort of what it looks like if we do like a proper picture of like with a longer exposure on this telescope. I think we're a lot out of focus. That's no good. Everything's a little blurry there. Stop moving. It should be a link. Oh, maybe it's not. I gave you a link to one photo. Okay, hold on. Share. Oh, okay. Yeah, I shared the one picture. Okay, hold on. We'll do this right. Now I know what to do. Okay. Okay, this is the link to the folder. Okay. Yeah, that was my plan. My plan was to share the folder. All right, that'll do. That's Orion Nebula. It's such a good object to take a picture of. It's like the perfect night sky, deep sky object. Oh, Stefan the French way. So Stefan. All right. Stefan's quintet. Okay. All right. Now, let's see. So someone wanted M81 and M82, right? So let's do that. Can we see the Crab Nebula? We can. All right. Let's do Crab Nebula first. It might not be visible yet, but I know it will be visible. And I haven't taken a picture of the Crab Nebula with this, so I'm kind of excited. Yeah, this should work. So now the Orion Nebula should be in the folder. And I will rename it. But then I'll download it and I'll share it. And then we'll go full screen just for a second here. And then I'll put the title there. That's crazy. That was like a 70-second exposure of the Orion Nebula. That's madness. Right, Crab Nebula. How do you convince conspiracy theorists the Apollo 11 moon landing was real? Yeah, you don't bother. As Shadow Mask says, you just do something else with your time. Enjoy looking at the universe with people who are interested in space exploration and astronomy, and you don't spend 1 second trying to convince people that the moon landings happened. Yeah, this object is amazing. Like the Orion Nebula is the whole package, right? You've got this really bright central core. I wonder if can you see my cursor at all? I wonder if I can just draw on the picture. That'll wreck it. Whoa. But so if you can see my cursor, but at the very center of this is what's called the trapezium, which is a group of really hot stars, and they are blasting out so much radiation that it's just illuminating all of the material that's around it. Just absolutely incredible. Yeah, I guess I have to draw on the picture if I want to do that. All right, that'll be good for the Crab Nebula. This is great. This is the first time I've taken a picture of the Crab Nebula with this telescope. This is going to be fun. Oh, I don't know what so I think that's like the bottom of Orion, of the belt of Orion, or the scabbard that hangs down. And so then the Crab Nebula will go into the folder in a second. Yeah, there it is. So let me zoom in on this now. That was okay. It's a fairly quick exposure. It's whatever. It's a 50-second exposure. So this is cool. So the Crab Nebula is a supernova remnant. So this is an object that detonated in the night sky back in the 1054 AD and was seen around the world. And astronomers have been watching the expansion of this debris cloud over time. And when you think about, like, say, supernova 1987A, where we've got this like tiny little circle, that was only seen 40 years ago. I'm so old. How old was I in 1987? 18? 17? No, 16. I was 16. Right. So, and so this is one that's 1,000 years old. And I might be able to show you the Veil Nebula, which is one that's more like 10,000 years old. And it's an even larger, fainter debris cloud that's moving away from the impact site. All right, so somewhat about an M81, M82. So let's do that. Those are in the Big Dipper. We'll start with M81, and maybe we'll get M82 in the same shot. We can't see the neutron star with this telescope, but astronomers can see the central neutron star in the Crab Nebula. The pulsar. Pulsar? Yeah. So, like, after you get a supernova of a massive star, it turns into a neutron star. And typically, right at the very beginning, it starts off as a pulsar. It's still got all of that angular momentum from the entire star that's rapidly spinning. And then over time, the star slows down. It just becomes a regular neutron star. All right, so there's M81. Let's see if we can also get M82 in the same shot, but I don't know what the field of view on this telescope is. Like, it's gigantic. It's funny, you can see the galaxy right there, even in just the live version. I don't know if you can see it in the little preview, but as soon as the 10-second view is done, you'll right away see the galaxy. There it is. It's a little blurry. I'm going to do a focus. I'm going to do a focus right now. In the beginning of the night, you kind of have to focus a lot. Oh, we're still going. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, we're getting those fainter spiral arms now. I have no idea what the focal length is. It's a Celestron Origin telescope. I don't know what it's a 6-inch telescope, but it's got all of this fancy like navigation, and it's got a built-in camera. Like it's an all-in-one. It's like the fancy version of a Sea Star or the Dwarf, or it's the bigger version. Don't worry about the battery critical. All right. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so now I'll try the focus. Stop. Then I'll down M81 should be showing up in the drive in a second. There we go. Download it. That's good. So this is a galaxy, even though it's called Bode's Nebula. I guess they found it before they knew it was a galaxy. There you go. Focal length is 335 millimeters. Yeah, so now I'll just take him. Now I'll get a shot of M82 if it's finished focusing. Okay. So it did move a little bit. So now we'll do M82. Oh, okay, and that's Bode's galaxy. All right. So this is the other galaxy that's right beside it. Fraser, how far have you gotten in Path of Exile 2? Level 70, I think. I got like 10 maps in, and then Build 42 of Project Zomboid just dropped, and so I started playing that. So I got to maps, got a little bit of ways into maps, and have stopped playing Path. I'm gonna wait for them to do a reset. Like there's so many fixes that need to be made for Path of Exile. I'm just gonna wait for them to do their first update and sort of see if the patches make me happy. And then same thing with Build 42 for Project Zomboid. Like I've been waiting 3 years for a new release of Project Zomboid, and so they finally came out with that. And now I'm going to, and there's a pile of bugs, bunch of issues that I'm not really happy with, but I know they're going to fix it and balance it and tune it. So it's a 6-inch. I don't know if it is a RASA. I mean, they just call it the Origin. It's like all in one. It's like simple and fast, but it doesn't have a lot of tinkering that you can do with it. I've got you can see right there. That's the telescope. That's who's providing the service, and that's where the telescope is located. I mean, these automated telescopes are pretty amazing. All right, let's do M31. All right, let's see how M82 worked out. Oh, see, so there's M81. Yeah, let's see if I can bring it up here. There's M81 just down in the corner, and that's M82. Six string simpleton. How can someone get access to this? So the company is called Starfront, and if you go to starfront.space, they have telescope peers. So you can essentially send your telescope down to their facility in Texas, and then they mount your telescope on top of one of the piers, and then they give you internet access and electricity, and then there's support staff there. And then every night they open up all of these big shed buildings. There's like, I don't know, they have like 8 of these big sheds, and then all of the telescopes are able to access the night sky. And they watch the weather, and they keep track of the wind, and they make sure that the telescopes are safe. And then at the end of the observing night, they close all the shed rooms again. And then so you just like take your pictures from the comfort of your own home. It's like a 5.5-inch, 6-inch aperture telescope, but it's really amazing. Like, I've been recommending that people take a look at this Sea Star. It's like a 50 millimeter lens, which is it's like this big, right? Like a 50 millimeter lens is about this big, 5 centimeters across. And yet these things have all of the automation. It's built in. They track the sky. They point it directly to the object that they're hoping for. And so you get these really incredible pictures. And if you do a search on Twitter, Blue Sky, whatever, you're going to see people using the Sea Star, and the pictures are great, and they're not very expensive. I think it's like $500 or $600 for for a little Sea Star. That is going to be nice. This guy's more like $4,000. No, I have been to dark sky sites in the United States. I was at one in New Mexico. All right. Download that. That is a big galaxy. All right. So does anybody have any other targets? Otherwise, I'll keep moving through my list. So I've done the Orion Nebula. I haven't done Pleiades yet. We'll do M45. But if you want to see anything, let me know. This is all about you. And that's M31. Zoom out a little bit on that one. And this is cool. Like, you can see the dust lanes in the galaxy. You can see that bright central core. That's amazing. We can't do the Pillars of Creation. That's in the Eagle Nebula, and that's a summer constellation or summer object. So I was able to show it back in September, but now we're way further along. Yeah, we can definitely do the double clustering Cassiopeia. We can't do any of the planets. Yeah, we can definitely do the Horsehead Nebula. That'd be good. This is a deep sky telescope, and so the planets look terrible. A patch of sky where there's seemingly nothing. Yeah, I mean, we can do that, but how long are you willing to wait? Are you willing to wait 100 hours to produce the Fraser deep field? Yeah, that's M32 with Andromeda. All right, that'll be good for Pleiades. All right, let's do the double cluster. Unfortunately, the object is too big to fit. I'm sure I'm misspelling Pleiades. P-L-E-I. There. We can't do Eta Carina. That's a southern hemisphere object. Can't do the large small Magellanic Clouds. Can't do Oumuamua. It's gone. So are the Pleiades really that? Yeah. I mean, the star cluster is relatively close to us. How far is Pleiades? It's 444 light years away from us. And it is, you know, those stars are a few light years away from each other. That should be enough. NGC 155. See, now we're getting some good weird objects. All right, so you want the Atlas comet. All right, let's try that. Wait, did that not save? Oh, it did. Okay. Too low. That one's in Sagittarius. That one's in Perseus. And that one's in Casio. Okay, let's do this one. I really like the double cluster. 2 star clusters side by side. That's too many objects, Jeff. One at a time. All right, let's see if we can see this comet. So Renato is doing some astrophotography right now. So what pictures are you taking right now? Can you see it? I don't see it. I guess that's it right in the very middle. All right. Well, I'll take a picture. NGC 1432, and then we'll see what the field of view is. Was it NGC 1432? I don't even know what that is. The field of view is very wide. Like Pleiades doesn't fit in it. Oh, well, the Maya Nebula is part of Pleiades. Okay. So we already took that picture. Yeah, it's just part of Pleiades. And then IC 1848. Is that in the same area? It's the heart and soul. Okay. Thank you so much, Dan. Yeah, so we can try the Heart and Soul Nebula. I want to try the Rosette. That's right. Okay, it's still centering. So let's see if that comet came through. Okay. I don't see it. I guess that's it there. Right at the very middle there. Comet. All right. So these kinds of objects don't like obviously if I took an hour and gathered images for this, then it would be then the Heart and the Soul Nebula would look okay. But you'll see, like, for the kind of time frame that we're doing here, like if I do a minute long exposure or 2 minute long exposure, so it started now and you can't even see the nebula at all. So I find these fainter H2 regions just don't work very well. Like now I'm starting to see like a little bit of nebulosity in the image. Yeah, so this just looks like a star cluster. How far can you see with this setup? Well, so I did a live stream last week, and I went out to 226 million light years away. That was pretty cool. All right, I'm going to stop this. We're not getting anything. Let's try the Rosette. Like, we're getting the cluster, but we're not getting the nebula around it. Photographs from dark matter. Yeah, I don't see anything but the cluster. So let's see if we can get the Rosette. It's the first time I've tried to take a picture of the Rosette with this telescope. Is a Dwarf 3 a good upgrade for a 6-inch Dobsonian? It's like the Dwarf 3 is a separate creature. It's a good small portable telescope for taking some long exposure images. And the more time you have with the deep sky, the longer and the more photons you can collect in your image. With a 6-inch Dobsonian, then you're going to be able to look at the planets, the moon, things like that. So they work together. Yeah, we can do something like the Elephant Trunk Nebula. Like you want like a dark dust cloud, we can do the Elephant Trunk Nebula or the Iris Nebula. That would work really well. So there's the rosette. It's working. I can see some of the nebulosity in the rosette. We actually got a review copy of the Dwarf 3, and our Dave Dickinson is doing a review of it. So we'll have a review of the Dwarf 3 in a couple of days on Universe Today. Yeah, where's the nebula in the Soul Nebula? Yeah, so this telescope, like, it could do a really nice image of the Soul Nebula if I was willing to spend an hour or 2 hours or 5 hours. So, but I don't think you have the patience for that. You want quick images. So this is a 90-second image of the Rosette Nebula, and it's too big. The Rosette doesn't fit within the field of view on this. Okay. So that is the Skull. Isn't Caldwell 56? Isn't that the Skull Nebula? Is the Rosette? Oh no, it's a separate creature. Okay. We'll give it a shot. It's in Cetus. Caldwell 56. Yeah, it's in the sky. The telescope's about $4,000. That's pretty cool. And you can actually see in the rosette, you can see what looks like little pillars of creation up at the top there. Let's go to the full screen version of this. And this definitely looks a bit like a skull too. Darren, we should do a virtual star party with some subscribers locked into some various targets. Yeah, that's the plan. There it is. That's cool. I've never taken an image of this object. Thanks for the recommendation. Caldwell 56. It is 1,600 light years away. It is a planetary nebula. It has a triple star system at its center. All right, let me show you what I think that's enough. I mean, it could get a little better than this, but I'll save that. Yeah, the rosette looks like a skull. Kind of like right there. But this is a different object that is called the Skull Nebula. There you go, Skull Nebula. Pac-Man Nebula. We can. I think it's going to be mediocre. But we'll give it a shot. I don't see a skull, but, you know, if I took a 2-hour-long exposure, then maybe we'd see it. But again, you know, how long do you want to wait? Yeah, the Pac-Man Nebula. I always wonder this, like, what did they call the Pac-Man Nebula before the video game Pac-Man was released? Oh, no, there it is. Okay, I see it. M13? Yeah, we can do M13 if it's still up. What's the longest exposure I've done so far? About 2 minutes. I really should mess around and, like, when I'm not doing a live stream, just like do a really, really long exposure. But it's upside down. But I'm trying to figure out what is the right amount of time to spend on various objects while we're doing these live streams. But it's great. Like the last time I had access to a telescope like this, we were doing like 5-minute exposures. And so this is so much better. Yeah, I'm doing 10 seconds per exposure, and then they're getting stacked up. So it was called NGC 281 before Pac-Man came along. Frenchman, Jean-Pierre Pac-Man. Pac-Man. Do a 20-minute exposure of the object of your choice. I maybe eventually, but, you know, it's kind of like watching paint dry. So I would rather go after lots of objects, because a lot of objects look great just in a really quick exposure. Let's do M33 next, the pinwheel galaxy. And like even a 10-second exposure looks great. But I totally see the Pac-Man. So that's a good object for this. Let me do a few questions. What? I don't answer questions about space. I probably want to rotate it. Oh. Okay, I want to rotate it 180 degrees. Let's transform. I don't know how to rotate it in this program. Okay. I'm sure there's like a hotkey combo that'll let me rotate it. No, it's just going to mess it up. It's upside down, but you can see it. I'll go to the full screen. He's upside down. Do you see the Pac-Man? What's upside down in space? Sure. And it all just depends on the orientation of the telescope. Wait, what is this? What? Looks like the Flame Nebula. There's a second telescope connected to this, but I don't know how to use it yet. So it's here, and it's pointing at the Flame Nebula right now, I think. That's live. Filter wheel, focuser. Yeah. Jupiter. Go. Okay. This might be interesting. You know when you're like using one telescope and then you discover there's another telescope connected to your telescope? They're so we're not doing any planetary work because the plan is that they're going to be installing a second telescope that's just designed for planetary stuff, and so hopefully, so are we there? Jupiter, go. See here. This is the other telescope. Jupiter, go. So it should be slewing to Jupiter. Or not. I don't know. All right. That's good. 160 seconds on the Pinwheel Galaxy. That's going to be a nice picture. Is Jupiter too low? What about Saturn? It is moving. Okay. This is interesting. So it wasn't able to get. What is it doing? I don't understand. The telescope is just pointing at the Flame Nebula. I can't make it go to anything else. Weird. Okay. All right. Apologies. So Triangulum is a constellation, and so like the local group is all of the galaxies that are gravitationally bound to the Milky Way. There's us, there's Andromeda, and then there's Triangulum is the third big galaxy that is all connected. And eventually, the Milky Way, Andromeda, and Triangulum will merge into one big galaxy. So that's like the second largest, brightest galaxy in the sky. Okay. So I don't know how to use this second telescope. But once I do, I will... Can I move up like that? Okay. Anyway, I'm distracted. Shiny. No, I don't think it's a guide scope. It's a second telescope. The Origin is a all-in-one package, so it doesn't have a guide scope. All right. So what else we got? Let me see what. So we've done M81. We haven't done the North American Nebula, but it's not great. Let's do M101, the Pinwheel Galaxy. That's a favorite. Oh, below the horizon. Okay, I can't do that. Should have known that. Let's do the Horsehead. I tried the Horsehead last week, and there was too much light pollution. So So this is going to be better. How much is your first telescope setup? I don't understand. Oh, the telescope we're using here, this is about a $4,000 telescope. Yeah, don't worry about the battery critical. To be able to restart this telescope so that I can, turn it off, turn it back on again, they removed the battery and so it's just plugged in. Where's the nearest galaxy whose polar jet is pointing towards us? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know any. I mean, the nearest quasar? All right, let's take a picture of the Horsehead Nebula. Yeah, we can do the Flame Nebula after that. Yeah, 3C273. That was the first quasar that was ever discovered. But I don't know if that's the closest one that was ever to us. I see the Horsehead, but we'll want to do a longer exposure. Pretty impressive what we can do with a 40-second exposure, though. It's amazing. Uh-oh. Looks like some light is leaking into the image. There's clouds. There they are. Yep. Yeah, I think this is going to wrap this up. I'll save this image. There you go, Centaurus A. Ugh. So let me try taking another picture of it because this is a bad picture. But it might just be out of luck. Yeah, it's just like a thin layer of clouds. It happens. The weather forecast looks really good, but there's clouds right now. And we're approaching a new moon, so it's a good time to use a telescope. Let me see how this image is. This is good to show this. So this is the Horsehead Nebula with one frame obscured by cloud. It's not bad though. Nope, same problem. Okay. All right, that's it. We're done. We got clouds coming in. This is going to make all the pictures mediocre. Okay, awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks for recommending objects. We're going to do this again very soon, leading up to the return of the virtual star party, where we have multiple astronomers, multiple telescopes. It's a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that. All right. I hope you guys all have a good New Year's, and we will see you next year.